My tenant got pregnant due to one of her flings, so I asked her to leave because I don't want to live with a baby. Now, I'm helping her get back on her feet. I, 30M, purchased a 3-bedroom condo in Toronto, Canada, around 5 years ago when I was in my second year of medical residency. Soon after the purchase, I rented one of the rooms to my roommate, 29F, to offset the cost of the mortgage. I live in one room, she lives in the second, and the third is my study room/office. She has been a great roommate from the beginning. We aren't necessarily friends, but we do get along exceptionally well. The entire roommate-tenant relationship has gone swimmingly up until recently. A couple of weeks ago, my roommate broke the news to me that she is pregnant. The father was a fling of hers, who does not want anything to do with the child. My roommate has decided she wants to keep the child anyways, and raise it on her own. To me, that seems like a huge challenge, and I admire her for it. The issue is, while I don't necessarily dislike children, I have no desire to live with a baby. While the condo is a fair size, I will most definitely be woken up by the babies crying at night. My condo is also where I like to come home to and relax, like a haven after a long work day, and the idea of coming home to a baby honestly seems absolutely chaotic. Especially since this isn't my own child. As difficult as it was for me to do this, I told her that it would be best if she finds somewhere else to live. I am not rushing her out or anything like that. I have given her a 6-month notice, since any later than that will come too close to the birth. She was honestly quite taken aback by this, and thought that I was being cruel. Her primary concern is that rent has gone up substantially in this city since she signed on with me. I haven't increased her rent since she moved in, so she's essentially paying rent that fits the year 2015. She works as a waitress, and will likely need to find a less nice apartment to keep within the same budget. A couple of other considerations are that she was out of work while restaurants were closed, but I did waive her rent for that period. All of the furniture is also mine, aside from her bedroom, so she would need to figure something out on that front as well, aside from all of the child expenses. I understand her position, and I feel horrible about the situation, but I honestly can't do it. Am I the jerk for this? Update 1. So firstly, to anyone asking about the legality of the matter, I consulted an attorney to be 1000% sure, and this is perfectly legal. Since I live in the unit, the eviction laws are much more lenient. Secondly, to anyone that said I should allow her to live with me anyway, I challenge you to consider what the alternative would be. If this doesn't happen now, then when? Her baby will become a toddler, and a toddler eventually becomes a school-age child. Will it really be any better to do this later on, or do you suggest that I let her raise the child here until they are 18? Finally, when I came home from work today, I told her that I wanted to discuss the overall situation. Before I even began, she actually apologized to me for how she spoke to me, and for expecting that I would be okay for her to raise her child here. I told her that her apology is totally unnecessary, as her reaction was completely understandable considering the uncertainty of her future. I then told her that I would waive her rent for the remainder of her stay to help her get on her feet. She pushed back on this at first, but after I urged her to think of her child, she graciously accepted. Aside from this, I also told her about my friend who could help her out with finding some affordable listings in the area. I thought I might be overstepping there, but she was actually extremely thankful and said she would take me up on it. Finally, I told her that I could help her obtain a more reliable work position at my hospital. Nothing fancy as she doesn't have any schooling, but it will be much more secure than waitressing. There would also be benefits/maternity leave that I don't think restaurants usually offer. This was probably my biggest risk of overstepping, but when I mentioned the idea to her, she was actually over the moon. I do agree that I acted in self-interest here, so I think it's the least I can do to make sure this soon-to-be mother and her child have some sense of security in their lives.